30 seconds here. Let people trickle in. Krys, where are you at right now? A studio?
I am in the video studio in Norwalk, California.
Hell yeah.
We're pulling out all the stops for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. All right, let's get started here.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another free BAM webinar. I'm your host, Eric Simon, also known as the Broke Agent. Krys, this has been an absolutely crazy week in real estate news here. We got the verdict on the NAR commission lawsuit. Zillow just bought Follow Up Boss, and there's some weird East Coast versus West Coast real estate rap thing going on. So I just want to say I really appreciate your time and everybody else's time that's here. Let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from, what market you're in. We're basically going to get right into it. But first, I want to introduce the star of the show, Krys Benyamein, the GOAT. For those who don't know Krys, he is an agent down here in San Diego / Los Angeles. He's a BAM creator. He's a speaker. He's a father. He's climbed Mount Everest, and he posts some of the best content in real estate. Today, he's going to talk about how to create 10 pieces of content out of one listing. I'm just going to sit here basically cross-eyed because I don't have any listings and basically let Krys get right into it. So Krys, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I know you got a fat presentation for us here, so we're all super stoked. Again, let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. Krys, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I am pretty amped up. And I also am like really sensitive to everything happening in the world between the Follow Up Boss thing this morning, between obviously the lawsuit ruling yesterday, stuff abroad. So I really don't take it lightly that so many people are on here listening to us because it just means a lot. So I appreciate everybody.
Oh yeah, we appreciate everybody's time here. And Krys, I know last night on Halloween, you had a little trick. If you want to just talk about that real quick, you had a QR code tattooed to your pumpkin or something to collect emails. I thought that was genius.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. And I guess I'm going to give you credit for it. As we were preparing for this webinar today, going over the nuts and bolts, Eric was just sort of scheming Halloween stuff. And I will give him credit about creating some sort of QR code for trick-or-treaters. I live in San Diego, although most of my market is in LA, and I get thousands of trick-or-treaters on my street. So the idea was, imagine giving away something in exchange for capturing their info. So as people came to the door, hundreds of people coming to the door, I was like, free candy for the kids and free raffle for the parents, $100 to the local ice cream shop. And I just had a QR code on my phone. I had hundreds of people scan it. I don't know what my conversion rate is, but I did wake up this morning with 33 applicants to my raffle. 33 people who either live in my neighborhood or went trick-or-treating in my neighborhood, which suggests to me they're local. I was pretty hyped about that.
Hell yeah. You should just dress up as an entire QR code next time, or just have a QR code like tattooed on your face. So that way you're just constantly collecting emails everywhere you go.
24/7.
That's a brilliant idea, Krys. I love it. Brilliant idea by me.
Thank you. It was. I'll
Yeah.
give you credit for it. Should I share my screen? Is it safe?
Yeah, let's do it. Share your screen. This is how to get 10 pieces of content, maybe more, out of one listing. Again, drop some questions in the chat if you have any as he goes along, and I'll try to get some of them going, and then I will interrupt Krys as it goes on.
Yeah, so I want everyone to bear with me. I'm good at a lot of things, and slide decks, I wouldn't say is one of them, but I put a lot of effort into this because I want it to be sort of digestible. So if you do have questions, chime in the chat, but I know we're doing a private Q&A afterwards, so hop into that with BAMX. But let's just jump into this. How to get 10 pieces of content from one listing. Depending on time, we could crack into almost, I have 20 for us, but 10 on the schedule.
Damn.
So yeah, it's a lot. And it was really exciting for me as I was preparing this because I never really sat back to think about how much content we create around every listing because it was just not what I did. But now it's going to make me present myself that much better in front of sellers because I can say articulately and now show them with this presentation that we're creating more than 20 pieces of unique content for every one of our listings. So why is this important? We're going to jump into the content, but I want you guys to understand some context before we do this. I really believe that it is very important for us to be creating not just ads or listing videos, but campaigns around our listings. And the reason why I want to call it a campaign is because when I think about what we do when it comes to a house on the market, it's much more like Nike releasing a product or a production company releasing a movie. They don't drop a one-off trailer. They actually don't even drop a trailer until they have a series or a marketing campaign prepared. So the first thing on my list is brands create campaigns. We are a brand. It's important to look at the content that we're creating around listings as a listing campaign, not a listing video. And I think when we shift the mindset as we are creating this robust library of content for each one of our listings, I want to be in the same sentence as Nike and Starbucks and like Fox, right? I don't want to be just a real estate agent. I want people to look at my business like, wow, this guy's hella dialed in. So we're creating campaigns at a high level. Number two, it makes you look like you have a ton of listings. And that is really good from the agent perspective. It's really good for the audience and the world to think that you're doing a ton of business, even if you aren't doing a ton of business. I mean, if you don't have your own listings, you should be filmed at other people's listings. But the one thing that I've come to find in creating multiple pieces of content around one listing is people think we are doing way more production than we are. Don't get me wrong, we're selling a lot of houses. I think we'll get close to about 100 by the end of the year. We're getting pretty close. But it makes it look like I'm doing 1,000, and I'm really grateful for that. Number three, sellers love to see it. What is our value add? What can I do that's different than the other person next to me? And one thing that I can do is offer them the platform that I've created. And I'm not saying that you can only do this if you have 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers. No, you do this if you have 5 followers, because sellers love to see the effort that you're putting into it. They love to see you putting sweat equity and participating in the process. But the other thing, this is the 5th point, and I'll get to the market has changed and over deliver, but sellers love to see the data. Sellers love to see the data. So as we are putting out more and more content and I am capturing the insights, how much reach did it have? How many views did it have? How many shares did it have? I can then share that at my listing presentation and say, Mr. Seller, my value add is that I'll get 900,000 eyes in like the last 90 days. I can do that without Zillow. What's the other person you've interviewed? So the data is really important. Number 4, and we're out of order, the market has changed. During COVID, it was really easy to make one video, and by the time the video dropped, the house was sold. So it's like nothing to sweat over. It's like, why am I going to make a whole month's worth of content? It's not going to last me long enough. Now houses are sitting on the market longer, despite how low inventory is. Los Angeles County, not uncommon for houses to be on the market like 26, 27 days. That's a whole month, right? What are you doing after you launch your listing on a Thursday, right? This is not to attack anybody, but what are we doing after that crescendo of look at this one picture I have? And that's what I like about creating campaigns. And the last thing I would say is you want to over deliver. You want to under promise and over deliver. By creating campaigns, by investing your time and energy into this, you're over delivering because the consumer really doesn't expect all of this. It's kind of like this presentation. I showed up with 20 ideas. I hope we get to them, but I promised you guys 10. Imagine if that was your seller every single time. So that's why it's important. I have one more background before we start getting into the content. If we just keep rolling, let me know in the chat if you guys like my Canva skills. I worked really hard on this.
It's beautiful.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. How to do it. That's a big question. I'm about to give you guys 20 pieces of content that you can recreate, but how do you apply this yourself? Number 1, you have to plan ahead. You have to plan ahead. This means showing up to photo day at your listings. None of this is happening if you're not going to be boots on the ground doing it at the listing. And it really connects to number 2 is batch record it. I'm not making multiple trips to one listing in order to capture all of this content that I'm creating. That's the opposite. I'm doing all of this in one afternoon, depending on how big the house is, depending on how elaborate the content's going to be. It could take a couple hours. It could take all day. We're going to be shooting a listing this afternoon in Whittier. It's going to be a condo. I expect it to take us probably 2.5 to 3 hours. And we're going to capture just about everything that we're going to go over today. I do it one time. It's called batch recording. The same principle applies to your listings. You know, you do this for the listings the same way that you do it to create content to stay consistent online. The last thing that I would say on how to do it, and this is something that I'm learning because I'm in the trenches, right? I've only figured this out by doing it with every one of our listings, and we're trying to better dial it in, is get all the media at the beginning. Once the listing is launched, your life is moving around. It's difficult to remember what you still need. And then you're kind of victim to the content not being finished yet. So this is aspirational, but one goal that you should have is when your listing drops, I have just about everything I need in a little folder so that I can publish it whenever I'm ready. Does that make sense? So even though I'm not dropping a just closed compilation, which we're going to get into towards the end, even though I'm not dropping that day one, it's prepared at the beginning because you just don't know how quick something's going to move.
That would be funny if this entire presentation was just listed and just sold templates. It was just 10 different pieces of content of just solid Canva templates. But I know it's not going to be that, everyone.
No, it's not going to be that. Some of it's going to be a little novel, I hope. Some of it's going to be a twist on some basic ass shit that I hope just like sparks an idea. So with that, let's get into the heavy lifting. Number one. He is right in between this Eagle Rock Highland Park area. I wish I could give you more details. It's not official yet, but let me know if you're interested in a property like this. Houses like this in this neighborhood go very fast as soon as they hit the market. I'm trying to put together like a VIP list as soon as I have this thing locked down. Let me know if you're interested. Right here in the Highland Park, Eagle Rock area, gonna be a very cute house. Let me know if you guys are interested. Let me know right here. I'm not going to make you guys watch every one of the videos that I'm going to have in this, but I think this is an appropriate one because it's not so obvious off the jump. I'm calling this the Jimmy Mackin story. I can't take credit for this entirely, but what I do take credit for is when somebody gives me an idea, I will execute it. So Jimmy Mackin runs a company called Curator. He's a wonderful guy. He has a wonderful business, and he has this idea about creating a VIP list. So number one on my list is the story post promoting the listing before you even have it. The value in doing something like this before your listing appointment is off the wall because I have gone into 3 listings now in which I've done this same campaign, which no other agent did walking into that door. And the value or like the butterflies it gives me when they look at me and say, damn, you're already like helping us sell this house. Like you're already doing this and you haven't even signed anything with me. It's making me do my job better, right? So you get all the butterflies about doing your job better, but I also begin to create conversations with people that are interested, right? So right here, I have a screenshot of the people that voted. You're going to see that some of these people are realtors. Dan is a realtor. Julius is a realtor. Lucas is a realtor. This guy right here, I don't think is a realtor. And there's a few more that aren't right here. But at the end of the day, I'm creating conversations with people on a product that is not available to them yet. And now I get to show somebody, look at the interest that I've created. This is a really sexy one that I don't want to sleep on. I put it as number one in the sense that it's in chronological order a little bit. This is a pre-listing piece of content. You're going to go into the listing appointment confident you're going to get it. And you're going to create this to start attracting you some people to have conversations with. So you do this. Sorry, Eric, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so what do you show the seller? Do you show them your phone and see like, hey, look, this got this many views and 15 people voted that they were interested and now I have their email address? Or how does that conversation look?
Yeah. So the conversation with the seller is I don't even show them the video because it's not the part that is like meaningful. I just show them the analytics page, exactly what I have screenshot right here. And I say, I made a video asking anybody who might be interested in a house of this kind. And I had 12 raise their hand already. I know we're not working together, but I just wanted to get a gauge on what kind of interest we can get. And I'm letting you know that I have 12 people that were interested. That's been very effective. This is number one continued. This is really where Jimmy Mackin, this was Jimmy Mackin's original idea, is that it's designed to be an email. We turn the email into a story post. But here is an email that I sent out to my database of about 6,000 consumers. Good morning. I'm not sure if this is for you, but I'm going to meet with a potential seller at 10 a.m. who is thinking about listing their home. I can't give you too much info, but I can say is homes like this typically sell above asking within a few days. If you're in the market, reply to this email and I'll add you to my VIP list. What you can see is I have a screenshot of the email response. I'm about to meet with it says, I'm always looking for something in my price range. I had 7 people in my database raise their hand who I had not communicated with, wanting more information. Now, they're probably not going to buy this house. However, I found 7 people who I had their information already that I wasn't communicating with that said, I want to know more. This is dynamite. Honestly, a lot of these are dynamite, but I started with this one. I just think this one is really, really good. And I can't take credit for it. I just take credit for executing it. The Jimmy Mackin email. If you guys aren't following Jimmy Mackin on Instagram, he gives a lot of shit away for free.
Guy also looks like Wolverine.
He looks like Wolverine in the photos. And then when you watch him lives, he dresses like Blade.
Yeah, exactly. Just straight vampire.
Straight vampire killer. All right. Continuing on. Number 2. So this seems basic. You are creating just listed photos, right? You are creating unbranded photos for the MLS. What number 2 is seems basic, but it's not, because it's thoughtful. It's basic to just post your just listed photos on Instagram without optimizing them for anything. So the example that I'm showing you here is simply my listing photos with some very light branding designed for Instagram. So I can't click through this like it's an Instagram carousel. I have another slide that just shows more photos of the same listing, but this is very simple. And I think it's just par for the course that allows you to create more content so that the seller and the world are thinking to themselves, damn, they're doing a lot of business. Nobody's paying that close attention. So all I have here is our team name and then our office with some light branding at the bottom. The photos have been digitally enhanced like everybody's photos. But the purpose of this I'm showing you is the photos on the MLS is not what I'm publishing on Instagram. On Instagram, I'm making this just listed carousel posts, and the photos are just this with some light branding. I don't really want to belabor that point because I don't think there's much to add.
Are you going full size Instagram or are you going horizontal when you're doing the just listeds?
At one point, that's a great question. At one point, we were doing the 1x1 square. I don't know why we thought that was appropriate. And then I was just like, I'm taking away so much real estate of the content. I'm robbing the content. So now we are posting them. I don't know this size. Do you know the size, Joaquin? A 3x2. So now we're posting them in this like horizontal carousel format, and it looks really pretty.
Krys, there's a couple questions in the chat about that green screen. That green screen you're posting to your story, correct? It's not necessarily a feed post.
Yes, it is not. That is, thank you for that. Is a great question. It is not a feed post. That is exclusively a story post.
And I do want to say, if you want to learn how to do a green screen like Krys, we have that training in BAMX. So there's a link down into the chat. Just use code Krys, KRYS, for 10% off. We have courses on how to do all of this in terms of actually setting up your Instagram to get the links and get the optimization and how to instasize everything so it's not this little horizontal post. So make sure you get in there. We're going to do a live Q&A after the fact.
100%. And one thing that I want to just like put an asterisk on it, and this is the unfortunate reality of 2023 coming into 2024, is I love and I respect everyone's desire to show up. However, it's not 2012. So if you're putting out things that aren't optimized, in my opinion, there's an extent of me that says there's no point in doing it at all, because at this point in time, showing up isn't good enough. And I mean that with love and respect. I don't want to discourage anybody, but you have to use the resources on how to make a right green screen or how to optimize stuff, because you've lost them before they've even started. All right, moving on. Unless anybody has questions about the carousel, optimize for carousel posts with your just listed photos.
Yeah, Lambros said, why can't they use MLS photos for the carousel?
Sorry.
Why can't they use the MLS photos?
You can use MLS. What is his name? I'm sorry.
Lambros.
Lambros, you can use your MLS photos, and these are my MLS photos. But what is different is I've put my branding on them in the middle bottom, and I cannot put that on the MLS. A lot of these distinctions that I'm going to make with a few of these next videos is that specific distinction is like, yeah, we're making social media content, but I'm pushing these products, these listings in the MLS as hard as I can because they syndicate to the Zillows and the Redfins and everywhere. So I am making content specifically for the MLS, which is the next piece, right? Like unbranded type content. You can't put your logo, Lambros, on anything in the MLS. You get fined for that. And the more content you put out, the more agents will report you.
A good app for optimizing this, you could check out InstaSize. I use that a lot to go full Instagram post in the templates, or sorry, in the feed. And then I also use InstaSize for story posts and for Instagram Reels. It's a free app. It's called InstaSize.
I like that one too. I already know we're not going to get into the 20, so at least the next 10 are going to be in the BAMX after this, but I'll be cooking as fast as I can.
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to make us watch all of this, but I know that once I click, the video starts. Number 3 is my just listed, unbranded. We're not watching all of this. That's it. That's all I need you guys to see in order to understand what I'm demonstrating here. This is an unbranded horizontal listing video. This is going to live on the MLS. It is not going to have any of my personal information. The importance of this is that it is the meat and potatoes. It's like the bloodline of all the rest of the content that I'm creating, right? So all of the rest of the content that we're going to make has B-roll of the house. I'm not having them reshoot the house multiple times. We're shooting the entire house in detail for the unbranded horizontal video. And then all that same content is repurposed in the rest of the content we're going to make. Does that make sense? So this is an unbranded horizontal listing video. The reason it's horizontal is because it's going to be published on YouTube as an unlisted video. It's not going to have anything that like brings them to me, although it's on my YouTube page. The MLS like hasn't figured out that piece, but I'm not doing anything to draw more attention to me. The music. The music is copyright-free music, right? So pick 1 or 2 songs that you like that YouTube's not going to rip down. That's a big piece, is the music will get your videos pooled. That's an unbranded horizontal listing video. Rock and roll? What are we on? Number 3. Number 4 is the branded horizontal. So we're not going to watch this whole thing. I'm just going to show you enough to prove my point. Check this out. Single story, completely remodeled, and totally tech enabled. This is a house you got to see. Let's go check it out. I'm not going to make us watch anything, but notice the music is the same because this is going to be this video is a YouTube pre-roll at. It's horizontal because it's optimized for YouTube. This video is going to be pushed to like a geo farm around where this listing is. I'm trying to capture people's information or trying to get them to view this listing. And the way that I've created it is I simply have Joaquin make a beautiful unbranded video. So he shoots the whole house, and then I will shoot an intro, a middle section, and an outro. So we can dive into this later because I know we're not going to get done in time if I really give you everything, but the intro needs to start with a strong hook. There's no like, my name is Krys, welcome to my new listing. The hook has to be something dynamic, right? Like very dynamic. And then the B-roll will begin showing them the house. I do a middle section where I highlight a couple of the features. My favorite part about this house is the big backyard and the location. You really can't beat it. It shows B-roll of the house, which was already shot. And then the outro. Because I am making a YouTube video, my call to action is specific, right? Like it's a YouTube call to action. I'm not going to say, click the link in my bio, right? Head to the description for more information. Click the link in the description to schedule an appointment. Subscribe and follow for content like this. So you're going to be doing specific calls to action, but there is money going behind this video because I'm running them as pre-roll ads.
Everybody head to Krys Benyamin's Instagram after this and look at all of his hooks for his listing videos and check out his YouTube as well. He always starts with something extremely dynamic and attention grabbing, like this kitchen is going to blow your head off. I mean, not something like that, but it's just always some like incredible feature that he mentions that you're 100% going to keep watching throughout the entire video. So we'll drop his Instagram in the chat. Make sure you follow him.
Thank you. And to give another BAM creator his flowers, Tom Story was the one that suggested we changed what's in the caption of the YouTube descriptions to be much more straightforward for people to just click a Calendly link. It's fascinating what these micro changes will do in the performance of the content. I really would love to give people more hooks and intro and middle sections, but it's just not like the topic of this. If you jump into the BAMX thing afterwards, we'll definitely share it. And maybe that could be another webinar, is like all about crafting hooks and
definitely.
Like
so everybody sign up for BAMX right now. Sorry to interrupt this, but we're doing a live Q&A where you could actually Zoom with us right after this, and the replay and everything will be available in BAMX. It's literally $10 a month. Use code Krys, KRYS. It's our bi-weekly masterminds. We have courses on literally everything. It's an absolute no-brainer. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, number 5. I don't remember what it is. It's exciting.
Single story.
Okay, so we're only going to watch a clip. I'm doing this, and the reason why I picked the same listing is because I want you guys to see we're not remaking, how would I say this? I'm repackaging the sausage. I'm not making a new sausage.
Completely remodeled and totally tech enabled. This is a house you got to see. Let's go check it out.
You guys notice anything? This one, I used copyright free. I downloaded the version that had copyright free music. The chances are when I posted it on Instagram, I used like native Instagram music. The B-roll.
Tucked away privately on a quiet cul-de-sac.
Sorry, I just want to show you the B-roll. Do you guys see this right here? Nothing too crazy. This is a horizontal video. That's a triple stack, right? So this is like a horizontal video. Canva, stop being a bitch. When I pause it, it goes away. I'm sorry. But if you go back and look at this later, all you're going to see is that in certain sections, you know, how do we make a horizontal video vertical? Number one, you shoot it in 4K so that you can punch in. You always want to make sure you're in the middle of the video because they're going to cut off the edges, right? Like, so you don't shoot a vertical video. You just get punched in and you become the center of the video. And then for the horizontal stuff, you can do a triple stack. So we can talk about that later, but you're just going to take the same video and stack them on top of each other to make it vertical. Make sense? So this is number 5, same sausage, packaged differently.
Matt wants me to make some sort of sausage joke, but I'm not going to. Ooh, that's a great example.
Someone's lucky day.
Okay, let me pause this. So number 6 seems obvious, but I mentioned in the very beginning, you want to front load stuff. You really want to front load stuff because when you're on the fly, it's difficult to come up with these things. So what I would say is for every one of your listings, have canned 1, 2, or 3 story posts so they're ready to launch whenever you need them to. So the first one that I'll show you guys is this middle one. There's nothing for me to show you. It's just a triple stack photo. I made this on Canva. You can see that even like the spacing is not perfect, but it's okay. You know what I mean? Like this is another original piece of content that I'm pushing out on my story. I can put links here. I put the information to the open house, whatever it is, but it's a story post. I know that this isn't super sophisticated, but I would hazard to like push everyone. How much story, like how much thought are you putting into your story pieces for your listings? And if you're not putting thought into it, like how much are you really doing it, right? So this is easy stuff. I'm going to show you guys this one because there's no talking. Instagram has just allowed us to make stickers within Instagram. If you don't have the update yet, it's probably coming. You can also make stickers just on an iPhone. I'm showing you this one right here because all it is a screen recording of me clicking through my MLS photos. I put a link to say, get the details, and it would take them to the website for the house where I could capture their info. And then I just put a sticker. That's just a sticker of myself. And this is a unique piece of content. What's fascinating about the story is how much engagement you get in them, you know, because it's organic, because it's going away in 24 hours. It's just crazy how much action you get in the stories, right? Which is why I think it's good to have multiple.
Are you posting these on different days?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. So you're spreading it out like throughout your listing.
100%. Exactly. The thing about everything that we're talking about today is that I'm showing you maybe a just listed example, but the same idea applies once you put it into escrow, right? I'm showing you like an in escrow example, but the same thing applies when it's just closed, right? You can make a story piece promoting your sale after it's done. I'm not going to watch the whole video, but I'm going to show you another green screen example. Chester Road in Covina is back on the market because the buyer failed to perform. This place is 3 bedrooms. Don't need to go in. Man, I wish I could turn down the volume. 2 bathrooms. That's okay. You're going to see that all it is a green screen. It's me talking at the green screen with a link to get information. You could tell that video is a house that fell out of escrow that I was putting back on the market. I did this with the Instagram green screen. Like Eric said, we got courses on how to make this stuff really easy, really organic. And from the seller's perspective, she sent me a message after this and she's just like, you're nonstop for us. You're nonstop for us. And, you know, it's not about just like selling houses. It's, you know, you want to impress people. And that makes me really happy.
I really like what you said at the beginning of this, that you're not putting all of your content effort into one day, where it's just, here's the listing video, here are my stories. It's like one promotional push. You're really elongating the amount of content and pushing so much traffic to your listing because you got 10 different pieces right here. So don't all just do this in one single day to push traffic to your listing.
Exactly. You really want to spread it out because, well, people are only going to pay so much attention. And then the other thing about spreading it out, which is why I think it's very important to be really consistent, is you don't know what day the right person needs to see your content. So you put all this effort into one robust video, and maybe the right buyer was like sick, or maybe they were on an airplane, you know, and now they're never going to see it. So I just think you need to keep giving yourself opportunities to show up in front of the right people. And a piece of that is story posts. This isn't novel. You know what I mean? Like this is, I think sometimes the best ideas are the most basic. And I think this is an example of that. I love, and honestly now, I can crank out green screens in my sleep. I can crank them out driving. I don't encourage that, but you will find that you can start cranking out green screens fast, which is encouraging to make them story pieces. Not everything has to go on the wall. Number 7, we keep it pushing. Show me someone who doesn't like pizza, and I'll show you, well, I'll show you someone I don't like. Jeez. Sorry, guys, Canva. All right, so don't even know what number we are. We're on number 7. I hope that I numbered these correctly. We're on number 7. This is the local business spotlight. So depending on who you ask, you're going to get some conflicting opinions on restaurant reviews and whatnot. The important piece that I'm highlighting here is that the business ties to my listing. And I won't make us watch the whole thing, but the reason why I'm showing 2 examples is because I want you to see that there are multiple ways to do the same thing. For years, I was doing a lot more of what I will show you a piece of on the right. This was my formula for a long time.
Flatbread that is baked every day that can be stuffed with whatever you want. That's a pupusa. We are here at La Sabrosa, a traditional El Salvadorian restaurant right off the 4.
It's me talking at the camera. It's me telling you about the restaurant. I'm going to fast forward. As you see, it's like me holding the food. And then the end is always the same.
recommend checking them out. And when you're in the neighborhood, stop by our newest listing, Enchanted Bungalow, just down the street.
I show my listing, I show the food, I plug my house at the end of it. I thought that this was the creme de la creme of making local business spotlights. I think it's still a wonderful way to make it. But if you don't feel prepared enough to be talking on screen yet, you don't want to be like the focal point. And really, I'm just thinking about the analytics. I think some faceless content does a little bit better. We've kind of evolved into this next version. So this is like local business 2.0 for us. These are doing better. They're also easier to make.
One of Southern California's finest pizzerias, Rose City Pizza in sunny Rosemead, California. With more than 1,500 five-star Yelp reviews, Rose City has made popular by some extremely decadent pizza. Their top sellers got...
So all of that was filmed with an iPhone. I recorded the voiceover afterwards. You can put it together on apps like CapCut, but the local business spotlight where it's like voiceover driven, I think is a lot more shareable. The businesses love it. I love it. It's just, I think this is like probably one of my favorite pieces of content. One thing to add as far as the formula, I always put the, oh, and while you're in the area, stop by my newest listing at the end, because I can't control when the video is going to drop because I have other content coming out. So it's not uncommon that the house has maybe sold, but I still have this wonderful business video that I want to share. I don't have the listing to push anymore. I want to collaborate with the business, and maybe I just trim that section off the video, right? It's like two versions. You just trim the last 10 seconds and now it's all about the business and not about you.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, are you inviting these businesses to collab with you on these posts?
100,000%.
Oh my God.
If they don't want to be a part of it, I don't really. The thing is, there are so many people that want to be a part of it now. Why would I go look for somebody that doesn't want to be a part of it? So don't get me wrong. I've had businesses not collaborate with me, but at this point, with everybody wanting to get more exposure, why wouldn't they want to collaborate with you?
So who are you reaching out to in the restaurant? Like, are you pre-planning these reviews, and are you talking to the restaurant owner or their social media manager? Like, who do you find to actually collab with this on?
Version 1, I used to like to talk to the owners, the managers, and I learned, what the fuck am I doing? This is taking so long. It's getting boiled down to a 60-second video. It's awesome because you're creating a real meaningful relationship, but from a content perspective, you're spinning a lot more wheels, and the guy that's running the restaurant doesn't really, he might not be the best voice piece. So I started doing that. At this point, 50-50. I will send a DM to a business and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this collab. Would you guys be interested? Most of the time, to be honest, we are showing up to the restaurant because I'm going to make the piece one way or another. I'll talk to whoever is there. Maybe they'll be able to they're always able to put me in touch with who I need to talk to. And I just haven't hit that many roadblocks. I think when they see that the content is like this and it's about them, why would they be against it? And I don't mean like this being highly produced. I mean, I'm writing a script about cheese Cheeto pizza. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking up the ingredients so that I can make them, like, I'm investing my time and money into these businesses, right? So, and then I'm creating relationships with them. So this is the piece that's not really content wise, but we're doing all of this to talk to more people. When I get the manager's information, that's then part of my CRM. Like, I don't call him and say, hey, you want to buy a house? I say, Bob, how are you, bro? I haven't seen you since I filmed the video a month ago. How's business? Right? Did it help? Like, now I'm friends with the local businesses, and I have like a personal relationship with them. There's a lot of value to that.
I think using this food content and restaurant content and these businesses as the hook, and then talking about your listing afterwards, is such a brilliant move, because anytime we see food on TikTok or Instagram, you're immediately invested into that content. And then just saying, by the way, I got a listing down the street. It's fantastic. I love that formula.
Thank you. And I'm not taking credit for this, but I would say to everybody consuming content online, this trend is becoming more popular, and it makes sense to me. This like faceless voice because people want to connect with the content, not necessarily like the real estate agent. So this same idea applies to everything. You go out to dinner with your family, you go to the park with your family, you go to the movies with your family, record some B-roll, talk about whatever you did. Boom. Suddenly you've made some like very, very shareable content. Number 7.
Yeah, some of the best listing videos in the game right now for Instagram are just, here's what $1.5 million could get you in Tucson, Arizona. And then they're at the front, and then it's a voiceover throughout the entire video showing the kitchen, the bathroom, the living room. I love those videos. They're crushing right now on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, and I think it's because the market has changed. 2020, 2021 COVID era, it didn't matter if you were around a house or not because everybody was buying. But now it's really important to be tied to the real estate because it's just not the world that we're in anymore. So you have to think about what's it going to take to get in front of more people, because I think at one point my content was more vain in a perspective where it's like, my face needs to be in everything. My face needs to be in everything. Like, Joaquin, my face isn't enough there, like more of my face. And now I'm just like, how do we take me out of a little bit, right? So number 8, this is really probably my favorite one. Creative short form. I too, for many years, was investing a lot of time, not a lot of money, but a lot of time and mental effort into creating one elaborate horizontal or vertical shebang. And I just felt the same way that Eric described. Well, fuck. Now it's Friday. The house is still for sale. What next? Like, how many times do I get to reshare the same video? So when that aha moment clicked in my head, it really was off to the races and very fun. So what we lean into now is you have to scroll with purpose. And then I'll show you guys these examples, but you have to scroll with purpose. And I can't remember who said it, but they were like, when you're scrolling, what are you looking for? Like metaphorically, like, what are you looking for? If you don't know what you're looking for when you're scrolling Instagram, you're going to waste so much time. So you have to scroll with intent, and I will scroll with the eye of how can I take a concept and apply it to a listing video. All of these examples that I'm going to show you guys, I should have pulled the originals, had nothing to do with real estate.
I'm just picturing you scrolling with like the most serious look on your face of all time, with like the eye of Sauron behind you, just trying to get some sort of like inspiration for something instead of just mindlessly doing it. It's a funny image.
It's a real image. And honestly, if you go to so if we're talking Instagram, everyone better be saving things that inspire them. If you don't know how to save it, DM it to yourself. Click that little bookmark icon, because you should have a catalog of things that inspire you. But everything I'm going to show you guys is about to be very basic, that I was inspired by a non-real estate related video. We don't have to watch the entire thing, but I'll just like give you a taste.
Krys, I think people want to watch the entire thing. Some people in the last few were saying that they want to see others too. So play it throughout the entire.
Okay, this one's taking us to Instagram. I guess I linked it to Instagram, so just give it a second.
Cool.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours.
I can't watch this shit.
I'ma get bella, girl, I gotta ooh. My car makes my body dance for you. Ooh, my car, my
Okay, so that was one example. I want to go through it fast because we're cooking on time, but I will show you guys a couple things that I want to highlight. Listed at 880 Rosemead, California. Drop me a son for the address and share this video with someone you know. I'm very cognizant that once I start getting heavy into the real estate, I will lose people, right? So there's dimensions to this. I want this to explode. I understand that it might end up with like people in Indonesia, but to an extent, when I can get this reshared, it's giving me analytics to share with the seller that's like, look at the reach that we're getting. I have other content that's shoot to kill. This right here is to get in front of new people, to entertain them, to make them humorous, to make some awareness. This guy, Mr. Noir, is who I got the inspiration from. We're not going to watch his stuff. Massive creator. I give him his flowers because he inspired my shit. And he just makes a bunch of videos where he's just watching. Like, we don't have to watch this, but if you just click on any of these, he's just literally like viewing something. You guys see what I'm saying? It's exactly what he's done to inspire me. That was a very easy video to make. So if I go back to my presentation, I'm showing you guys the same listing. I purposefully picked 3 videos from the same listing so that you guys can see the campaign, you know? The worst part about the content, and this is good for everyone, I don't watch the content after it's posted.
Have you seen? You gotta watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, bro, I already seen that. Oh, did you see that? I felt it. You're gonna watch it again with me.
I'm looking at Joaquin saying it was a good one. Couple things to point out. Triple stack. This is my B-roll. Nothing sophisticated, right? Like, I have to push this stuff out, and this is not my entire job where I need to be focused on other things. I'm repurposing the content. Triple stack of my horizontal video. This was done. I can't remember if this was done with an iPhone or not, but inspired by the Brock, another person who I like on the internet, who literally did the same exact thing, who I just copied. Right? It's like, there's so many of these creators out there.
Who was the first guy you mentioned?
Mr. Noir. It's Nouar, Mr. Noir.
Got it.
And then here's the last one. I actually just redid this. And that's the other thing. You can do the same ideas for multiple listings. I went to Austin, Texas to make a video with an agent, or when I was there, I wanted to make a video, and we did the same exact idea for her listing. And I can't wait to, well, I saw it. It's not out yet, but it's gonna be really good. So without making you watch. Inspired by some other creators that you can follow. These guys are just like influencers, millions of followers. But the point is, they're doing things that, you know, inspire us. And if it worked for them, why wouldn't it work for us? You know, just give it a shot. At the end of the day, it's just one piece of content. I was looking for the original inspiration so you guys can see this, but the original video is really funny. I won't spend too much time looking for this, but this is another creator who I really like. And his name is Joe or Hirsch. So iPhone videos, short form content. These 3 videos took us less time to create than one elaborate video. And it's just, this is the money right here. I can't stress enough. Take simple ideas and input them into your listings, and it's like digestible for people. We got to get through at least the 10. There's no chance I'm getting to the 20.
People are saying amazing content. Drop a W in the chat for Krys if you like these videos. Go follow Krys's Instagram right now. This is the best real estate content in the game. Drop a W for Krys. W's all around. Look at that, Krys. Can you see the chat? People are fired up.
Honestly, I've kept it closed because I'm like overwhelmed by all these screens.
It was all just puke emojis every single time you were sharing your content.
Dude,
the number is just dropping. No, his content's fantastic. Everyone loves it. Everyone has a huge smile on their face, just like you, every time we watch your content.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Number 9. This is the sausage being repackaged.
Oh my God.
Closed. I know we're eating a lot of sausage. So I've
Glizzies.
spent all this time making the content, right? Like I've just shown you 9 videos or 9 pieces of content. And I think it was Robert Mack who was on stage a couple years back that talked about doing a case study. And he was talking about putting a case study in a mailer. And I was like, yeah, we do that, but that's expensive and it takes a lot of time. Why don't I just start doing these case studies on the internet? And that's when I said to Joaquin, bro, we should just make a mashup. We're making all these videos. We're making all this content. It only lives for a little bit. Just take the best pieces of each one, slap them together with some music. And now I'm calling it a Just Closed compilation. And this is dynamite because, well, I'll show you why it's dynamite. I'm showing you one that I did with my entire team. And the reason why is because this was a 5-way collab, because if I have a listing that's close enough for the team members to show up, I want everybody making content. Now I've made 60 videos, right? Like nobody know, like for the seller, they've just got it on all these new platforms. So let me show you this one and then I'll bring some attention to the caption. And then I think we'll just end on 10 right on time.
Sunshine. Oh, get down in the sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine. Oh, get down in the sunshine. Come on.
So you guys see that triple stack recycled content from the first one? All of these are just clips of me and the team shooting content in the house, getting compiled. The real money, in my opinion, which you can just copy this, right? Like just take it, like consider it a template. Go to this Instagram post, copy my caption, and then just start filling in the blanks for what fits you. This is a post you want to share with someone looking to sell their home. The Foster case study. These are some of the steps that we took to sell this home for $20K over list price with 6 offers in today's market, right? I'm collecting the data so I can say all of the videos I did together led to 10,000 video views, 122 website clicks. I keep track of how many people came to the open house. We had more than 100 because we did 3 open houses. I sent 1,500 postcards. You're doing all this shit already. Do they know that you're doing it? And are you presenting it in a way that's bite-sizable? None of this was made to do for a compilation video. This is just all the stuff we already had done, all on the one day. All of this shot in one day.
Is that triple stack Canva or is it CapCut?
CapCut.
For sure.
Okay, number 10. Right on time. Holy smokes. But I literally have 10 more, Eric. I have 10 more that we're not going to get into.
We'll get into it in the BAMX after party right after this.
Shit.
We got another 30, 40 minutes with Krys. So you got to get into BAMX right now. Use code Krys, Krys. Krys, throw up that QR code too when you're finished with this.
Yes. You know what? We're just going to end it right here because I've numbered them wrong. But number 10 or maybe number 11 is a single property website. So this would we're getting into more content, but I believe the single property website has a ton of value, not necessarily because I'm capturing a bunch of leads from there, but I think this is another indication to the seller how much time and resource we're investing. I'm not creating single property websites with expensive companies. I do it through my CRM. I'm a Sierra Interactive user. They let me create listing websites with it. It's not the most sophisticated, but it's beautiful and digestible, and it's another piece of content. So what I will do is I am going to stop sharing momentarily because I do want to keep some of this exclusive because I put in we have 9 more that are dynamite.
Yeah. So we're going to do 9 more in the BAMX after party. This is our membership. We have courses and live streams and trainings on all the stuff that Krys has talked about, how to green screen, how to use Canva. We have my entire Instagram course. Use code KRYS, code Krys, KRYS for 10% off. And then make sure you join the BAMX Facebook group page. That's our community page where it's referrals, everybody's talking to each other. There's constant tips where you could get in connection with the entire BAM crew. And we're going to do another live Zoom in 5 minutes there right now.